And good morning. Thank you for joining us today for our 17th meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all those who are able and willing please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use it in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Here.
Sorry. Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Very good. Thank you. Well, if I could lead in to our meeting. As many of you know, I like to give a little updates and some educational stuff and some perspectives. Today I'm going to go out a little bit on a limb here, and hopefully it's a sturdy one, which I believe it is. Today is a National Day of Prayer. Many times I hear people say about separation of church and state, but what they're actually saying is separation of church from state. That's not right. What it means is separation of church and state means there's not a state religion or a national religion. The fact that many of us hold true to our faiths, that's a test of our character and who we are. That's why we're having a time of reflection and prayer. So if you want to kind of get a litmus test of where we're coming from, it's based on our faith and our living it. So with that said, we do have a press release, or we've got a few of them going out here today, but Lake County Commissioners amend operating procedures at county buildings. Public visitation by appointment only. The Lake County Board of Commissioners continues to consult with public health officials and to ensure that we maintain the countless public services for our citizens and businesses at the county facilities. Our goal is to maintain quality and timely services to the best of our ability during this unprecedented public health event. In doing so, the county must provide a safe working environment for our employees and visitors while adhering to the various local, state, and federal public health protocols currently in place. Effective May 11, 2020 at 8 a.m., county buildings controlled by the Board of Commissioners will permit visitations by appointment only. Residents or businesses are encouraged to call the appropriate departments prior to 4:30 the preceding day to schedule an appointment. Our mission, this is ironic, 'cause this is actually my quote and I muffed it. Our measured approach to getting Lake County back in business gives our employees, residents, and businesses the best avenue for a successful, sustainable, and healthy path forward, commented Commissioner John Hammercheck. All visitors will be required to enter the main lobby through the county facilities from our new administrative center's lobby at 105 Main Street, Paynesville, Ohio. Guests are encouraged to wear masks and will need to register with the Lake County Sheriff's deputy and be given a temperature check. Guests with a temperature above 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit will not be permitted in the buildings. Commissioner Jerry Serino said, "We are progressing on a path to get back to normal in our county operations. We appreciate the patience of all our residents and community and commitment of our employees during this transition. When necessary, residents and businesses are encouraged to continue utilizing the alternate service model currently in place for county business. A large number of county functions will be complemented via email, regular mail, fax, or by telephone correspondence. Examples include, but are not limited to, paying utility bills, submitting bid documents, and building permit applications. Please contact the appropriate county courts for their schedule and availability. And there are a number of telephone numbers listed in this release. Exception to the public visitation policies exist for Job and Family Services inquiries. Please contact the Job and Family Services at 440-350-4000. During this pandemic, the focus of the Lake County government remains to support the needs and aspirations of Lake County citizens. In the vein, we are consistently striving to improve services in a consistently changing environment. Please feel free to contact us with any suggestions as to how we can do our jobs better, added Commissioner Ron Young. And then we get into all the phone numbers, so it's all included. And with that little bit of public update, I will say, gentlemen, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, sir.
Very good.
I would just like to say that just as to distill it down, I think to me what that means basically is that there's a serious threat to health out there, and while the county is taking every precaution to protect the people that we're trying to serve through county government, at the same time, the goal remains the same. And that's simply to serve the people of Lake County. That is our goal. Government should not be here serving government. Government is designed strictly to serve the people. So if there's some way we're not meeting the needs of the people out there, please contact us. Let us know what the problem is, and we'll do our best to solve that problem. The conditions around us may have changed, but the objective, the goals, the priorities of government have not changed. So please feel free to give us a call if there's a problem. Thank you.
Very good. All right, Madam Clerk, if you would, resolutions, please.
Absolutely. In the engineer's office, resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the Lake County Engineers Road Department, SALT 2020, bid opening May 27th, 2020.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to Specialized Construction Incorporated for the resurfacing of various county roads with chip seal project in the amount of $876,900.75 as required by the Lake County engineer.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And discussion. Jim, did you want to comment on this one, sir?
Yeah, this is the last major contract other than the rebid that we're taking for the summer paving program. This is the chip seal work that will occur on our less traveled streets, and it is probably the largest program that we've had in several years. Now, I will also tell you that part of this program contains work at the Black Brook Garage, which we probably will non-perform due to the present economic climate.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further discussion?
None.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution authorizing payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,658,441.93.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $176,067.47.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations within various general fund accounts.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
And under special resolutions, Resolution proclaiming May 2020 as National Nurses Month.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, I'll take this one. So, one of our staff, Donna Tyson, she's quite the blessing. I call her our shortstop around here, has been making up these with her daughter. The mask, homemade, but we have a Smurf nurse mask here, so I plan on giving this to my daughter. She is about to take her board exams for nurse practitioner, and she's, she always say heavy with child, so we're going to be having a baby here soon, but there are so many nurses out there doing so many good things, and I have to say that this is also the year of the nurse. We have the month and we have the day, so there's so many things in these difficult times with the value that's given. I'm words escape me to just sing praise upon these folks because they are there on the front lines. Some people are just saying, well, they're just doing their job. No, there's no such thing as just doing your job, and these people exemplify that. So with that, gentlemen, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President, I too have a nurse practitioner daughter who was also very pregnant when she took her boards. And so we really appreciate the work that all of those in the nursing continuum have expended during this pandemic crisis, and we can't thank them enough for the work they do and for the risks that they take. So I will echo your comments.
Oh, bless you for sharing that. Commissioner Young.
Well, what they're doing is amazing. They're out there every day facing this head on. You know, I can bunker down in my basement and I'm okay, but most of the time. But they're out there every day facing this. It is honorable. It's extremely brave. These folks need to be honored. So it's great we're bringing that up today. Thank you.
Indeed, and just one thing flashed through my mind. You know how kids will have a little bit of fun. So when all this COVID crisis started, I get this picture that kind of looked like the Charlie's Angels pose with my daughter and a couple of her colleagues with their thermometers and their gear for personal protective equipment. It's like, wow, they're taking it seriously, but the enthusiasm that these folks exhibit, you know, a little bit of humor goes a long way, but it also says how committed they truly are to things. So, with that, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes. Thank you.
Resolution proclaiming the week of May 3rd through the 9th, 2020 as National Correctional Officers Week.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Very good. Discussion.
This is, Mr. Chairman, this is another group that we can't thank enough for the work that they do. And I mean, even under ordinary circumstances, particularly under the existing circumstances that we have now with potential exposure during this pandemic crisis. So unfortunately, we can't have representatives here with us at our meeting, but we do want to pass on our thanks and an appreciation for the great work that they do.
Indeed, and if I could just amplify that, bringing it home, Lake County, our own corrections officers here at the county, the exceptional job that they're doing under difficult times, adapting. They're a high-spirited lot, which they need to be because they care. They're passionate about their jobs. They're passionate about the safety that they maintain for those within the facility as well as each other. And their efforts deserve to be well recognized, and we're very fortunate to have the commitment and the team here in Lake County that we have. So, Commissioner Young, did you want to add anything?
Well, there's not much I could add other than just to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for taking on assignments, even when you're walking into real potential danger every day, not just during this epidemic, but every day. And I'm sure almost every citizen in Lake County sleeps better knowing you guys are out there doing the job you do. Thank you.
Oh, bless you, sir. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports.
Mr. President,
I'm so sorry.
if I could ask for an indulgence here.
Indeed.
Since we're going through resolutions, I have submitted and would like for consideration at this time a special resolution that was not on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
I believe my two colleagues have copies, and the
We do,
clerk
sir.
has copies as well. And I'd like to take a moment with your indulgence to kind of describe what it is.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully, with a press conference that the governor is holding later today, that most, if not all of this, might become moot, which would be wonderful. But the purpose of this resolution is to make a request to the governor, which we will be sending this to his office. And I say it's a respectful request because we certainly, I think I could speak for all three of us, and certainly I can speak for myself, that we certainly recognize and support what the governor has done, getting out very early in the state of Ohio to protect the health and welfare of Ohioans, and we certainly support all of those efforts. However, this special resolution, and the title of which is Resolution Requesting the Governor to Reopen the Economy of Lake County, effective on May 15th, 2020. Now, just a broad brush view of where things stand in Lake County right now is that our businesses in this county of all types across many sectors are suffering tremendously. Restaurants and gyms and other facilities, barbershops, et cetera, have been closed for 2 months, and it's getting to be in excess of 2 months. And for any kind of business operating with trying to stay liquid during a time when you are not permitted to allow customers to come into your establishment is heartbreaking and financially burdensome and potentially cataclysmic for the business owners, not to mention the employees that no longer have jobs. And again, we appreciate that certain steps had to be taken very early on to try to stop the spread of the pandemic, to flatten the curve, and to keep our hospitals from being overrun. And the circumstances have turned certainly more positive than they were when the closings were determined by the director. So what we're asking for in this special resolution, of course, this resolution carries no weight of law. It is a recommendation and a request that we're sending to the governor's office in Columbus, that the restaurants and barbershops and massage therapy, entertainment, recreation, gymnasium facilities, to name many of them, be allowed to open up under strict guidance from the local health district here, in terms of ways that they can mitigate the spread and protect their employees and protect their customers as well. We believe that the businesses, many of whom we've talked with, have already got plans put in place and ready to go for when they can open that would provide the protections that we're talking about here. We are very mindful of the fact that the population needs to be protected, and we as commissioners think about and act upon the health and welfare of the people of Lake County every day of the week. We do this all the time, absent a pandemic. And so this should not be interpreted and must not be interpreted as any lack of concern on our part for the health and welfare of the county. We take it very, very seriously. We also understand that there is an economic health that is important for Lake County to survive. Separate from the state restrictions that are currently in place and that hopefully will be removed very soon, we also have other economic circumstances happening in Lake County. We have a very large segment of companies that support the supply chain in the aerospace industry, for example. And the aerospace industry has been hit rather severely during this pandemic, with air travel being restricted and with airline companies facing liquidity issues and getting support, hopefully, from the government soon. This has trickled down, and there have been significant reductions in revenue to many, many companies in Lake County that are supplying the aerospace industry. Now, that, again, is not related to the state restrictions, but I bring it up, Mr. President, simply because it also reflects on the economic health and well-being of Lake County. Lots of employees and lots of companies that are engaged in this area that are being affected by this the virus. So when you add all these together, it suggests to us that Lake County is in a potentially very sad situation from an economic standpoint, not only today but going forward. Last year, less than a year ago, we were able to avoid an economic cataclysm in Lake County by the adoption of House Bill 6, which we all worked very hard on to keep the Perry nuclear plant open. And we're grateful for everybody who supported that, the legislature and, of course, the governor. But now we face another potential economic cataclysm that could last even longer than the closure of the Perry plant might have been. And so we are hoping that with the governor's press conference this afternoon, that some or all of these points in our resolution may be moot, but in case it's not, we really are asking the governor to take a second look and to allow our economy to get restarted here in Lake County so that we don't have to deal with the so many problems which will follow as a result of that. Mr. President, I will ask if the clerk could read very quickly the resolution, please, since it's not on the record. Why don't you
Pertinent parts, how's
yeah?
that?
Why don't you start with 1, 2, 3, 4? Why don't you start with the fourth whereas? Yes, the March 19th.
And this document will be made available on our website for
Yes.
those who are interested, so.
Okay. Do you want me to read the heading again before I start?
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am, please.
Resolution requesting the governor to reopen the economy of Lake County effective on May 15th, 2020. And we will start with, whereas on March 19th, 2020, a director's order was issued closing numerous businesses, including but not limited to all hair salons, nail salons, barbershops, massage therapy locations, and entertainment, recreation, gymnasium facilities. And whereas on March 22nd, 2020, the director's order was issued that all persons in the state of Ohio are to stay at home unless engaged in essential work or industry. And whereas on April 30th, 2020, a director's order was issued that reopens businesses with exceptions and continues a stay healthy and stay safe at home order. Whereas the aforementioned director's order of April 30th, 2020, various restrictions were allowed to remain in effect upon restaurants and bars and numerous businesses under the category of personal appearance beauty businesses. And whereas numerous business owners in Lake County have taken proactive measures and have developed and instituted safety protocols that are in compliance with all of the director's orders, as these Lake County businesses want to keep their customers and employees safe. And whereas the various policies have negatively impacted and severely restricted numerous Lake County businesses, whether or not deemed as essential, including but not limited to manufacturing industry and even funeral homes and or related services. And whereas the continued restrictions result in continued hardship, financial peril, and unfortunately, in many instances, irreparable harm for Lake County businesses. And whereas the economy of Lake County suffers from continued restrictions on Lake County businesses set forth above. Whereas a multitude of Lake County businesses provide products in the aerospace industry and as a result of federal restrictions are experiencing significant revenue reductions, further exacerbate the economic hardship on Lake County's economy. And whereas each member of the Board of Commissioners has received communications from numerous Lake County business owners, workers, and patrons requesting intercedence by the Board of Commissioners with the state of Ohio to help save the businesses of Lake County and the Lake County economy. And now therefore be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners in and for Lake County, Ohio hereby requests that the governor reopen the economy of Lake County effective on May 15th, 2020. Be it further resolved, the businesses of Lake County are capable of, with the support of the Lake County General Health District, in developing and instituting safety protocols consistent with the established health and safety recommendations. Be it further resolved, the patrons and consumers of Lake County businesses are in the best position to make their own personal choices of which Lake County businesses to frequent and what is in their best interest from an established healthcare perspective. Be it further resolved, it is time to reopen the Lake County economy with appropriate safety protocols.
That's good. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for and my colleagues for sitting through reading of that. But I thought it was important since there wasn't it wasn't on the agenda originally, and it really does state, I think, our intentions of this resolution. And I can't emphasize enough in closing here that it's our job to listen to the businesses in our community. And our businesses, as we all know, have been very vocal about this, not in a reckless manner. They have all been, to the person, extremely responsible in how they have planned for and plan to address operating when they are allowed to continue operating under the right guidance of the health district. So I wholeheartedly recommend that we adopt this resolution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. And if I may echo and amplify some of your thoughts, one of the reasons Commissioner Serino referenced that there may be some elements that might be moot, that is a clear indication of the cooperation and the goodwill that we have with our governor. Today at our mayors and city managers, Mayor Morley of Eastlake and I had been talking about having the governor in, so Mayor Morley made the call, and the governor joined us for better part of 20, 25 minutes going over a number of Lake County issues. Commissioner Young had a very direct question to our governor relating to some of our businesses here in the county, and our governor is keeping an open mind. There's a great deal that goes into rules, regulations, governance, but some of the stuff that just goes unseen, our Lake County Health District, our Emergency Management Agency, again in conjunction with our Board of Commissioners, we have been making sure that accurate and timely data, facts, if you will, are making it down to Columbus, that are factoring into the decision-making process. Lake County is one of the counties that is looked to as a bellwether. That's a term that you hear an awful lot in regards to Lake County, and I have to say that's something that we have earned. What you're seeing, though, is a steady hand on the controls by leadership. No radical changes right or left. There are many competing perspectives and concerns, and we are being very systematic and methodical in what we do because we can't afford to get this wrong. There are several relief programs, federal, state, local, county level. We've been working on some things that we're rolling out to help our citizens, help our businesses. But I cannot overemphasize the importance of keeping a steady hand on the controls of government. And we're very fortunate that we do have the ear of the governor, and we're doing fairly well here in Lake County. It may not feel like it, but if you look at other parts of the state, we are doing quite well, and we'll come out of this. There's a lot of goodwill, and again, there's a reason why this is a National Day of Prayer, so continue prayers for your fellow Lake Countyans. And with that, Commissioner Young, would you care to add?
Yes, thank you. This whole, and by the way, after our conversation this morning with the governor and his looking forward to the press conference this afternoon, I think a lot of our businesses, not all of them certainly, and none of them totally, but they're going to be, I think, find some satisfaction in his comments this afternoon as far as further opening of the economy. At the same time, we should never forget or trivialize the loss of rights and freedoms that we have so easily endured during this time of the epidemic. It's no small thing when Americans don't have the right to assemble. It's no small thing when we're told we should stay home, or that we shouldn't travel to other states, or that we can't go to work. And I don't have the list in front of me, but the list of actual rights that have been taken away from Americans during this period is quite long, and each one each one embodies documents, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, Constitution, that Americans have died for. So what we've lost during this period, we need to get back as quickly as possible. Now, at the same time, lives are at stake. And that can't be trivialized either. So I'm respectful of and see the need for these restrictions. But at the same time, we should only endure these for a very limited period of time. We know a lot more about this virus now than we did before. We know what we can do to prevent it with masks, social distancing, things of that nature. I think we're awfully close to, if not even past the point, where Americans can't be trusted to act responsibly. So with that said, I'm glad to support this resolution, glad to support business, and at the same time, glad to support this gradual reacquiring of the rights that we've lost of late. We should never forget either the cost we're paying by keeping Americans at home and essentially taking away their jobs. And the results of that, people staying at home like this with no work, no meaningful way to care for their families, to pay for their homes, etc. The suicide rates go up, crime goes up, drug overdoses are spiking. The list goes on and on of social ills and crimes that escalate during periods of social and economic unrest like this.
No.
So I think this resolution is a great idea, and I fully support it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
So if I just may, and thanks, Commissioner Young, I echo your thoughts as well, particularly on the loss of rights issue that isn't getting enough attention right now, and maybe something that will be talked a little bit more about when this is over. But I do want to mention that we've been led to believe that at the press conference this afternoon that there will be some announcements relative to restaurants opening. We don't know the timing of that, and I will tell you that if it involves, it'll be good news to hear that there's a plan to open, but if it is not until the end of the month, that will mean that restaurants will have been closed for 2.5 months in our area, around the state of Ohio. That would not be an acceptable time frame from certainly from my perspective and from the business owners as well. So hopefully the news this afternoon will be very positive, and again that hopefully some or all of the points in our resolution will become moot. Thank you.
Indeed, and as long as we're continuing here, by way of background, just keep in mind we have, love him or hate him, President Trump did say that there will be 50 versions of opening this country back up. And our governor is aware that there are 88 counties, so there are going to be 88 factors that are going to need to be considered. Again, love Governor DeWine or hate him. It almost seems ironic that in other states and nationally or internationally, Governor DeWine is looked at it as a model, but we're a rather spirited lot here in Ohio, and we're looking for ways to accelerate and do good things. That's how it comes down to your Board of Commissioners, because we represent the public, and this document does represent that. And dare I say, if you want to understand what Governor DeWine's going through, I would suggest taking a look at Mark 6, verses 1 through 6. Might sound eerily familiar. With that, any further discussion?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Oh,
I will move to adopt.
good golly. I'll second that.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
That's okay.
Well, we had pre-discussion, so I guess now we'll have actual discussion. And
No further discussion.
Commissioner Young?
No further discussion.
Okay, I'm sure the listening audience is happy too. Okay, and I think our media just ran out of ink over there, so. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you. And with that, we'll move into departmental reports, but I will extend the hand to our engineer. Any updates you'd care to give us, particularly possibly Madison Avenue?
Well, not much going on Madison Avenue at this particular time, other than what you already know, that the consultant has been here. He's looked at it. He's coming up with some possible alternatives shortly. We did call him yesterday and ask for an updated report by tomorrow. And not a formal report, but just, what are we thinking, where are we going? Because the state is asking us the same. They want to know what the scope is. They want a rough idea of a budget number, because we do have federal funds involved and so forth. We have tested the storm sewer, most of the storm sewer, but I think the utilities department machine broke down and we weren't able to test all of it. That came out negative. We still don't know where the water's coming from. We found out that the water line is the Lake Counties and not the city of Paynesville, so we're working with Randy to see if we can detect any leaks in the area. We are going to be dye testing both the storm and sanitary sewers to see if we can see if the dye comes out at the bottom and that little stream is happening. So we're doing all the things as rapidly as we can move forward. And as the information becomes available, I will pass it on.
Excellent. One thing that I know I've personally been asked is the possibility of additional signage for a little bit farther out, so that truck traffic that might not be able to get turned around, coming off of 84 in particular.
I think Tracy's working on that.
Got it.
And we're probably going to be putting some more up.
Excellent, excellent. Further discussion for our engineer? And any room and road updates?
Well, they poured the last slab, deck slab, so they're starting on the parapet. Right now, it kind of looks like mid-June to 1st of July could be the opening. So we're rapidly making progress.
Excellent, excellent. So if we maintain social distancing, are we going to ever get a walkout tour out there?
I'm still planning on putting you on a bus.
Uh-oh.
Yep. We may have plastic for you to put on. There's been some talk about buying a bunch of burqas for you.
Nice.
So, something to isolate you. But yeah, we're going to do something. If we still have a problem, then we may just have to take a long walk. But it is.
We can have 6 feet in between us, and as we're walking through, and we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. It'll be a fun day, no matter what. Just pray for no rain and sunshine.
And still on schedule? Everything's looking good? No other challenges run into?
Not at this particular point. They should be starting on the about that same time. They will be starting on finishing the Rumen Road, the section from the bridge to Interstate 90. It's all supposed to be done in about October, other than a lot of Mickey Mouse plantings and things like that.
Copy that.
Yeah,
Commissioner Young.
Yeah, in reference to, the hazmat suits for each of us. In the conversation with the governor this morning, he was much more open and less specific than the way we've been interpreting protocols coming out of the health department and other entities in Columbus. For instance, he was asked the question about farmers markets, and what do we do to open up our farmers markets? And there was this pause, and he said, I know of a number of farmers markets that have been open. He didn't. He said it's really in many instances. He said it's up to the locals. Your health commissioner and the folks in charge there at the county level. So what I got from that was that as long as we're making every effort to follow those protocols, if we're cognizant of the 6-foot rule, if it's 5 feet, it's not the end of the world. People can live with that. If we're wearing a mask, it doesn't have to be a specific type of mask. It has to be more than a Kleenex, probably, but but some sort of a mask. So some counties have been viewing this in different ways, and I think Lake County's taken a very responsible and maybe a little bit literal approach to it. But I would say, in reference to your dilemma there with the bridge and our visitation, just as Jerry was saying, we'll work it out.
Well,
So-
relative to the bridge, the contractor and the state have really been good about making sure that all the social distances and masks, when they get closer than the 6 feet, because in construction, sometimes you need two people to work on something, one to hold it and the other to turn the wrench. So they've been taking all the precautions necessary. They raise temperature first thing in the morning. I mean, so we have been enforcing that. The state's been enforcing it. We've been doing the same thing with our own people out in the field. So, we're doing everything we can, and so is a contractor, to respect the wishes of the governor.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to, I do not believe, did you have, Jason, did you have an update possibly to share regarding utilities? Anything there that we need to?
John, I heard the update. I do have an update. I didn't hear the specific question. It's real quick. Over the next 2 weeks, commissioners and general public, I'd like to ask EMA Director Busher and Health Commissioner Ron Graham to participate in a coming meeting to give a update of kind of where we've been, where we are, and what they're seeing coming down the road as it relates to COVID. So I will be, with your concurrence, scheduling those gentlemen throughout the month of May to give an update to the Lake County citizenry on where we're at. That's my first note. Secondly, as you know, Commissioners, we're putting the final touches on our economic development program for our local small businesses in Lake County. Rhea Benton, our CDBG manager, has got all the documents submitted to HUD. As you know, we're kind of at their mercy as far as the liquidity of the dollars, but we will have an application process, an online portal, should be available over the next week. So I want to thank you for your support on using the CARES Act dollars and getting out to the local businesses and the social services component as well. And finally, we do have a public comment this week. I would like to enter into the record for Mr. David Lima. Without objection, Cuyahoga County has delayed payment of property taxes 1 month to help taxpayers who may have been affected by the coronavirus crisis. Are you considering a similar action? So that will be entered into the record, the public record component. And that concludes my report.
Very good. And if that could be forwarded down to our Lake County Treasurer, and I believe the auditor should also be included in that communication.
I will do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and I'll just do a real brief on finance. Again, our finances are holding. We are taking steps to tighten the belt, so to speak. We are also looking at options of how we can project through the end of this year and into next. So there are some, I dare say, some creative solutions that are being looked at that I think will keep Lake County's finances strong, and we'll be able to continue to maintain a very good service delivery model. And with that, Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
Just the usual. Next Thursday, May 14th at 10 o'clock is our next meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any old business to come before the board?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to give a quick brief. Lake County, as I'm sure everyone is now aware, we are now part of the national opioid litigation, and Lake County is one of 2 counties in the nation that is being looked at as bellwether counties in this effort to seek recovery. One of the reasons Lake County was chosen had to do with all of the efforts and work that we did with the DeWine administration for their One Ohio solution. Lake County was instrumental with our tracking, our documentation, our responsiveness, our timeliness, the cooperation of our electeds. There were a number of things that went into that which had us looked at very favorably on a national level. And Judge Polster had selected Lake County. The other county selected was Trumbull. And the reason that Trumbull County was added is they have a drug task force. And their drug task force has worked very closely with this region and our own Lake County Narcotics Agency. So there's a lot of connectivity and synergy there. So we have been recognized nationally, so there will be a great deal of heavy lifting going on here in Lake County with this litigation, but we are up to it because we have proven to be able to document and convey information accurately and timely. The other thing is I believe the checks are starting to get cashed on our $1.5 million infrastructure, so that's a good thing. It's always a good sign when you push money out to the local municipalities and they're actually making those deposits. So again, that's $1.5 million. Another example of promises made, promises kept. And with that, I will say, do we have any new business to come before this board? Very good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes. This meeting stands adjourned. Thank you for joining us today.